What's up guys, welcome back. In today's video we're going to be talking about, well, I just had a really bad set, lost a ton of leads. We are going to break down one of the leads and kind of expand, look at different scenarios to see if we can find the most optimal one. And then we're going to look at some other matches, but man, today was just brutal. Sometimes you have good sets and you win the lead a lot of times and you have a good, 4-1, 5-0 run. And then other times you just straight up lose the leads, like it seems like every single match. And it like erases all your progress from like the last day, and it sucks and it's just so crappy. That's what happened to me today. And I try not to go on tilt. I don't think I did. I just was trying my best. I just kept running into counters and it just sucked. And so let's just look at these battles and let's see if we can find anything that we could have done different. I know I did make some less than optimal decisions. I did, there's certain situations where I probably should have shielded and I didn't. But anyways, we're using the same team, obviously, and let's just go into the first battle. The second battle is going to be the lead matchup that we break down and look at different scenarios. And then we do win one game at the end. Okay, so let's just get going and just see if we can learn anything, because man, these were brutal matches. So the first match, we have Altaria versus Azumarill. Not a good lead. So I switch into Deoxys and they switch into Sableye. I haven't seen a Sableye in so long. So this is a very bad situation for us. Luckily we land a Rock Slide, which is okay, good. But I have to shield everything because Sableye can get to a foul play. And it's 6 Shadow Claws, and I think 6, and then maybe 5 for the third one. And I think I lost count in one of these and I shielded when I wasn't able to get to a charge move anyways. I forget, I don't know if it was this one or a different one, but it was just, yeah, not a good counter you want to run into. So we lose switch advantage and we lost our Deoxys. So now we have, our Azu is exposed now. Now they know what we have. I didn't want to put Altaria back in because Azumarill is resistant to the dark types. And they bring in a grass type, so this is not good. This is not good. The good news is Cherrim has its energy ball is not a grass type, so, but look what happens. Like, I don't know if you could expect this, but Dazzling Gleam, this is the move I was running at one point. And it just almost KOs us. I was expecting a Solar Beam or something, or Weather Ball, but it did go with Dazzling Gleam, so that was bad. They have an Azu, it's kind of like checkmate. Like, I don't really know how I could have played this different. Even if I shielded that Dazzling Gleam, I still had to go against, they had switch advantage. I don't know what I could have done. So I don't know what you guys think. If you see any mistakes I made, I don't know. I'm always up to learn how to get better. But yeah, this match just was not looking good. They won the lead, they won the switch advantage, the second matchup. And it was just, yeah, we were fighting uphill battle the whole way. And so I surrendered because we weren't gonna win. I didn't want to waste time. Okay. This next battle is a lead that we can win, Stunfisk. So hopefully it has Mudshot. No, it has Thundershock. So this is bad. We can win, and this is where I think I made the less than optimal choice. I shielded. Remember that. So I go Sky Attack. Nothing wrong with shielding, but I think shielding first is not the best, and we'll talk about why. So he doesn't shield, so now I'm like, okay, he didn't shield, so now I don't have to shield. Because usually you want to match shields, and that's kind of where I'm getting at with my point. I shouldn't have shielded the first one. I kind of need to see what they do. I think that's the best strategy. Because look, they don't shield again. So I'm like, okay, they're saving their shields for something. I don't need to shield this because I'm obviously going to win. But let's pause here. Okay, so let's look at some other scenarios and see how we could have played this one differently. So first scenario, this is pvpoke.com, obviously. I'm going to pause here. So this first scenario is where I don't shield that first time. So you can see that yellow circle at the bottom, or the yellow circle there means that the discharge was thrown at us and there was no shield there, so I didn't shield it. Then that light blue circle is if I go Sky Attack. If you're not familiar with pvpoke.com, please check it out and use the battle feature. And you go to sandbox mode and you can literally adjust every single turn in the battle. So you can see here, if we go straight Sky Attack and they go straight Discharge, none of us shields, we actually lose that matchup. However, if you have optimal IVs for your Altaria, you can see now that you actually win. So same exact play, straight sky attack, no shields, with better IVs, meaning like a 0 attack, 14 defense, 15 HP, or something close to that, you can actually win that matchup. So that's what's called an IV dependent matchup. You're not always going to win, depends on how good your Altaria is. Now the rest of these scenarios, I assumed you have like a number 1 ranked Altaria. If you don't, at least try to get as low of an attack as possible and as high of an HP defense as possible, and then try to get it powered up to as close to 1500 as possible. You want to maximize all your potential for that Pokemon. So like if your Pokemon maxes at 1475, you're missing out on a big chunk, you know, of CP power there. And like you just want to get as close to 1500 because you could power it up like an extra half level is what I was trying to say. Anyways, let's go to the next scenario. Okay, so this is a scenario that, and this is what I might try because I noticed my Stunfisk opponents often don't shield that first attack. So what I might try in the future going forward is throwing a Dragon Pulse. It's risky. It's a higher risk, high reward type of play because if you land it, it does more damage. And you can see here on the screen, we don't even have to shield. We can farm down. It's really close though. So this is, again, really, really risky play, only if you have an optimal Altaria. You can farm it down, save 2 shields, have switch advantage, and have 51 energy, which is enough for a sky attack. That is like, you're like gonna win pretty much every time with that kind of advantage. However, that's risky. 3 HP, you're treading a fine line. So let's go to the next scenario where we land the Dragon Pulse and then we shield. Okay, so we just make sure that we have a little bit of a buffer. So now you can see we have 36 HP, 51 energy. We burn only 1 shield, but we have switch advantage. So I think this is the optimal scenario if you can land the Dragon Pulse. So this is what I would probably do. Okay, so next scenario, and this is where you'll see where it gets risky. What if the Stunfisk shields your Dragon Pulse? Well, now you're screwed because the only way you can win is if you burn both of your shields and your opponent decides to just let his Stunfisk go, which doesn't often happen, especially if they burn 1 shield. It's common that they'll want to win that matchup, especially if they catch a shielded Dragon Pulse, like they could shield your Dragon Pulse. They're going to be in a really good spot, and they might want to just keep that switch advantage. They'll also, yeah, so that's the only way you'll win. This scenario is very, very unlikely, in my opinion. So let's go to the next scenario. What happens if they shield the Dragon Pulse? So now we're kind of in a bad spot, but we use both of our shields, and then they shield our sky attack. Well, you can see that we still win, but it's actually a CMP tie. Okay, so meaning Altaria gets to its charge move at the exact same time as Stunfisk. Now their attack stats are pretty close together, so if a Stunfisk has a higher attack stat, it could win that CMP and then you lose. So not only will you lose both your shields and you lose switch advantage. It's not a good scenario to be in. You're most likely not going to win that battle, that whole match. And again, if you experience even the littlest bit of lag, so if you miss 1 Dragon Breath and your Stunfisk doesn't, then they'll win the CMP. Like they'll have the energy before you and they'll win. So if you guys have played Go Battle League in the last week, you know there's plenty of lag going on right now. It's very, very, very possible to miss a Dragon Breath. And so getting a Dragon Pulse, getting it shielded is not a good situation. That's why it's very high risk. But it's good to explore these scenarios because that's how you learn your team. That's how you get really, really, really good with your team. And that's how you maximize the number of wins. You have to sometimes take just one matchup, analyze all the scenarios, pick the best ones that you think will win the most often, and then just try it. And if they work, most times, just keep doing it. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Okay, next scenario, let's say you go Sky Attack, they shield, and if you don't shield, then you lose. Pretty simple, straightforward scenario. Next scenario, you go Sky Attack, they shield, and then you shield a Discharge, and then you burn your second shield on the Discharge. You'll still have enough energy to win. You'll have 45 energy. You'll have burned both shields, but you'll knock out the Stunfisk, and you'll have enough energy for a Sky Attack. So I think this is another good scenario. However, again, this is reliant on them not shielding. So if they only burn one shield, it's not good. And if they do burn both shields, remember, we talked about that. If you burn both shields, you both burn both shields, you still win. So that's an okay scenario too. So what I'm thinking I'm going to try is Dragon Pulse. I'm going to try it and see how it goes. If I'm noticing a lot of them are not shielding, like I have been noticing, I might go with that. Okay. So I'm going to hit play again. So now I'm going to hit play on the still frame here just because it'll help me with the timing editing. Okay, so now let's see what happens. That was a long talk, but hopefully you guys got a lot out of that. Do that with your own team. If you don't have Altaria lead, whatever your lead you're using, do that with your lead with a certain matchup and just see how you can play optimally against that Pokemon. So we switch, and now we have a Meganium. This sucks because, yeah, Meganium is still good against our Deoxys and Azumarill. So this is not a good Pokemon we want to see. So, and I had burned my first shield already, or my last shield already. So we're at the mercy of this Meganium who has an extra shield. So I can go Rock Slide. It can shield or not, but if it does shield, it's in a very good spot. Because they saw our Azu, it made a good choice to shield. And then they pull a battery swap here, which sucked for us. Meaning their Altaria had energy, it just came in with a Sky Tag ready to go. So now we can go in with Azumarill, but they still have a Meganium in the back, so this is not looking too great for us. The only thing I can hope for is to farm this Altaria down. So that's what I try to do. Even though my water's resisted, I'm going to probably take another Sky Attack because my water's resisted, so I don't have a lot of health left. The only thing I can hope for is to win the CMP tie, and we lose. So that was close. You know, we won the switch advantage in the beginning, but still, I think shielding first put me at a disadvantage because I put my opponent in control of the shield situation. And look at this next battle, Bastiodon. So right away, out of the first 3 battles, we hard lost the first 2 leads. So I go into this one. This is not a horrible secondary matchup. I do need to win this one. I do need to go straight Rock Slide. And let's see. So Sky Attack's coming in. If I'm smart, I'm going to shield. I decide not to shield. This is where I started making dumb choices. I should have shielded that. I don't know why I didn't shield that. That was dumb. So I think it's because that last match that I just lost to, I was like thinking, maybe I can save 2 shields and still win? Because that's what my last opponent did. I wasn't really, I don't know, I was getting too cute with it. I should have just did the straight shield and tried to win that secondary matchup. That is what you should just always try to do. And then they bring in this in, and then I switch, and now like I have to beat this Azumarill and keep mine alive to have any chance of winning, because my Altaria will not do anything to the Bastiodon. So I go Play Rough, and I'm just hoping that they don't have Play Rough. Okay, so this is good. They have Hydro Pump, but still they have a shield, and so if they're smart, they're going to shield their Azu because they need to get rid of mine, because mine is the only threat to their Bastiodon. So doesn't shield. Okay, so I'm like, okay, maybe they'll let it go, and I might have a chance. We'll see. I have to shield. I have no choice but to shield here. Even though Hydro Pump's resisted, I have to shield because I need to keep this thing alive. And I go Play Rough, and he doesn't shield. I'm like, okay, but he's got so much health. He's got so much of a health advantage. I try to sack swap. So I pull off a good sack swap there, perfectly timed, but this Sky Attack's not going to do anything. Like, this is pointless at this point. It's just farming up energy right now. And so he has energy and he's got a shield. And so I'm just too low. It's just nothing I could do. Yeah, so it was just rough match. So now we're 0-3. So we're not doing great. Altaria versus Clefable. Like, oh my god, Niantic, what are you doing to me right now? Registeel. So, okay, this is still a decent matchup for us. I'm going for Thunderbolt because that does more damage. And I land it. Okay, so we're looking okay. I need to shield this because I need to keep it alive. So I shield. I'm going for counters. I'm trying to whittle it down. I have to shield again. There's no other really strategy behind this. You have to keep that thing alive. I'm trying to farm it down. And I just get it. So I win the secondary matchup, but I'm down 2-0 shields. So I throw a rock slide. He shields. I go for my other one because I had enough energy to do 2. And then it doesn't shield, but you can see it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I maybe should have gone for Thunderbolt there. But either way, they're in such a commanding lead with shields that they have a lot more options than I do. I have no choice but to take whatever charge move they do. And they farm. The Clefable is pretty high. I think it has a higher attack as a fairy than like some of the other ones that have charm. And yeah, we're not looking good. So I try to do a sack swap here because I'm trying to keep that Azu alive for whatever it has in the back. I just feel like it might be important. So let's see what it has. Altaria, okay. I try to do a sky attack. And it just doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's going to farm me down. And then we lose once again. CMP tie, we lose. So, oh man, it was just not my day today. It was, God, it was such a rough... I try not to get mad at myself. I was like, I just tried to keep my composure every match. And then this is the best lead we got the entire day. Other than the Stunfisk, which I misplayed, I think. But we have finally get like a somewhat lead that we can handle. I notice our bars are the same, so I have to shield. I'm going to throw a sky attack because I don't want to waste my energy. But then they give switch advantage. So I'm like, ooh, hell yeah. I'll save my energy. Go in with the Deoxys. He charged pretty quick, so I didn't think it was a Hydro Pump. So I took the Ice Beam. And then I go for a bait here. Hoping that they shield. Please shield. They don't shield, so that sucks. You'd think with 2 shields they would have shielded that, but... maybe because they were expecting a shield bait. That's probably what it was. So anyways, I knew that was going to be an Ice Beam. And I go with Thunderbolt, hoping that he just doesn't shield again. And luckily, he lets it through, so that's awesome. And here it's a tough decision. Do I shield and keep switch advantage, or do I not shield and just farm up a little bit of energy? I just decided to keep the shield. Okay, so now I have a little bit of energy with an Azu, and let's see what comes in. We have Vigoroth. Okay, not bad. It's going to spam body slams like crazy, but we hit pretty hard too. So we're going to shield this one up and throw a play rough. I mean, it's the lowest energy move, the ones that we have. I'm hoping they start burning shields so I can do some damage. I have to take this body slam, but it won't do a whole lot of damage. You know, body slam's neutral. It's just super spammy. Vigoroth is a solid pick. If you guys have Vigoroth, it's a pretty good one to use. A lot of people lead with it, I think, and some people keep it in the back, but I wouldn't really necessarily call it a safe switch, just because a lot of people use Deoxys, which it's super effective against Vigoroth. So, yeah. So it looks like we're going to lose this matchup, but the Vigoroth is like pretty much fainted, and so I can farm it down with my Altaria, and I go straight for the sky attack. And luckily I had a lot of energy, because they gave me switch advantage, I saved all that energy, and that's what won us the match. That was very close. But we finally win just barely. Like, they almost got to a sky attack there. So we go 1-4. And the last thing I'll leave the last note here, that I only lost 24 points in that 1-4. Usually I lose 25 or 26 or more than that. And I think it was because the one time I had someone matched up with me with a super low rank compared to mine, I just quit out of the game, did a rematch, tried to get someone that was more level with me, and I think that actually helped me not to lose more points, because I went 1-4 the prior set and lost 25 points, and I think I'm sure I've lost more points than that before. And I don't consider it unethical, I don't consider it cheating, I just consider it the game not matching you up correctly. And we all know Niantic, they mess up a lot, so yeah, I'm not going to let Niantic screw my rating. And so if I see someone with a 100 or 80 point deficit to me, I'm not going to play, because if I get unlucky and lose, I'm going to tank my rating. I don't want to do that. I want to lose to someone who's even with me or better. That's just how I see it. So hope you guys agree with that. I mean, I know there's some people who are in different camps there, but that's just how I play it. Anyways, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys tomorrow.